Hi, welcome to the project for fishing and rating the Eagle Cap Wilderness trout waters. I'm Mike from Mike's Ugly Flies, and I plan on researching as many of those lakes as I can access. And I'm going to make a video for each one along the way. Rating the Eagle Cap is my third project in the series to rate Oregon's trout waters. First project was published in March of 2026 and focused on researching Oregon's top trout waters with emphasis on wild trout waters, waters with big fish, and waters with reputations for having a lot of fish. It's available on Barnes & Noble now, with some videos also on my channel. Another project to develop and publish a similar volume of information on the western Oregon coast lakes is about 20% complete. Some of those videos are also on my channel. About the videos. They aren't about butterflies, unicorns, or flowers. They are about fishing. I won't talk much about the hikes or scenery, except to complain about how steep it is and note how pretty it is. If you find the individual water details helpful, please see our other videos on the channel and subscribe. Each water is fished and rated in 4 categories, each worth 25 raw points. They are productivity, solitude, fishing ease, and access. This is a little different from the scoring scheme for the other projects since I didn't score Eagle Cap lakes for scenery. Everywhere there is simply gorgeous. Each score is then weighted based on what is most important. Productivity is 50% of the total score, while solitude is worth 20% and fishing ease and access are each worth 15%. Productivity is based on 4 individual scores: the best day fish per hour, the largest fish landed, the average size of the fish, and a bonus point for each fish over 12 inches. Some lakes were fished multiple days, while others were only fished one day. For example, at Minam Lake, the best day provided 3 fish per hour. Their largest fish was 13 inches, and the average size was 12 inches. Given that 5 of the fish landed were 12 inches or more, the score is boosted by 5 bonus points. The raw score then ended up at 20.5 of 25 possible points. This is then normalized to a 0 to 100 scale and weighted at 50% of the total score. Final productivity was 41 of 50 possible points. Solitude is an easy score to calculate, with 1 point deducted from the total possible 25 raw points for each distraction I encountered. For example, at Culver Lake, I encountered 8 people on the first day, but none on the second day. This averaged then to 21 raw points. This is then normalized to a 0 to 100 scale and weighted at 20% of the total score. Final solitude scored 16.8 of 20 possible points. Fishing ease is scored as the average of 4 independent scores for backcast and bottom snags, wind and subsequent boat control problems, and finally, the ability to read the water. At Blue Lake, this scored 18.75 raw points with no impediments to fly presentation. However, there isn't a bathymetric bottom contour map available online to help read the water, like Minam has from iBoating. This is then normalized to a 0 to 100 scale and weighted at 15% of the total score. Fishing ease then was 11.25 weighted points. Access is dependent on 2 scores, one for the distance I had to travel to reach the water, and then how far I had to paddle my belly boat to reach fishable water. For example, to reach Looking Glass Lake required a 7-mile hike from the trailhead, but I had access to fishable water immediately off the shore. Looking Glass Lake then scored 18 of 25 raw points. This is then normalized to a 0 to 100 scale and weighted at 15% of the total score. The final access score for Looking Glass Lake was 10.8 weighted points. I'm psyched. Let's adventure.